What's up guys, I'm Andy from 1A Auto. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the left front CV shaft on this 2010 Toyota Rav4. If you need parts for your vehicle, click the link in the description and head over to 1aauto.com. Just keep in mind when you're doing the job like this, because we're removing suspension components, after the job's done, you're going to want to go to a local shop and have your alignment performed because you don't want to have premature tire wear. I'm just going to take this wheel off. I'm going to use a 21mm socket and an air gun. Take the wheel off. All right, we want to take this nut off, but when you put the nut on, you're supposed to peen this over a little bit with a punch, but that's going to prevent me from taking it off very easily. So what I'm going to do is take a punch and a hammer. Just try to tap right here. Piece looks like it broke a little bit, which is okay. It's okay, I should be able to take that nut off now. Now I'm going to use a 30mm socket. It's going to be a 12-point socket and an air gun. If you don't have the air gun, you can use a breaker bar, and you can also use a pry bar to prevent the hub from spinning. Came right off. And then the axle is nice and loose here, which is good. If it wasn't, just take a punch and a hammer, just give it a tap. Just try to loosen it up a little bit. You don't have to force it all the way in. Just make sure it's loose. That'll make it easier for the next step when you pull the rest of it off. All right, at this point, we want to separate the ball joint from the lower control arm. I'm going to take these nuts out and then this bolt out. Now you could do this a different way. You could take that ball joint nut off and separate the ball joint there at the knuckle, but sometimes that can be difficult to do without messing up the boot on the ball joint, and sometimes tools don't fit in there that great, so it's a little bit easier to just take these bolts out. So I'm going to use a 17mm socket and an air gun. Pry bar, get underneath there. With that separated, I can just push this out of the way. Should be able to pull the axle through. That's good, like that. There's some push pins over here, right here. Just use a trim tool. There should be one right there. There's another one right here. Should be some over here and over here. So take all those out. And there's a couple of screws in here. I'm going to use a 10mm socket and a ratchet. Take those out. Ours only has 2, but you should have 4. There may also be some over here on the sides. Check for those, take those out. Pull it down. All right, so I'm going to take a pry bar and go behind the axle over here. It's a little area you can get behind. Make sure you have a drain bucket. I have a drain bucket down below to catch any fluid that comes out. Get in behind here, and I'll just give it a pry it out. You can try to support the axle so it doesn't fall, but it shouldn't. You should be able to just pry it out and it not being a big deal. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get to. All right, I'm just going to try and use a pry bar on the little slot on the CV shaft and just give it a tap with a hammer. See if I can get it out that way. All right, so that worked. We'll just move the drain bucket underneath a little better. And I can get behind this and just pry it out. There we go. Sometimes they come out easy, sometimes not so much. And just slide it out. There it is. just slide the CV shaft back in. Now it's a good idea just to check that seal in there. It is recommended that you replace it, but if it looks okay and it's not too dried up or anything, you can reuse it. Take the CV shaft, line it up, and you might want to twist this while you try to push it in. All right, make sure it locks in place. And you can try to wiggle it out a little bit, see if it comes out. If it doesn't come out, then you know it's locked in, which ours is good. At this point, I'm just gonna take a little brake parts cleaner, clean that area up where it was dripping. Now this axle was out before, so under normal circumstances, when you pull that axle, you're gonna lose a lot more fluid than we did in this video. But you wanna make sure when you're done to top off your transmission fluid. All right, now take the end of the axle and slide it into the knuckle of the bearing. Get that started. Slide the lower ball joint in position. It's lined up. Put these two nuts on. Right there and there, and right there. And then take the bolt, get that bolt started. Once those are all started, we can tighten these down and torque them. I'm gonna take my 17mm socket and a torque wrench, and I'm gonna torque these to 68 foot-pounds. All right, now we're gonna put the axle nut on. It's a good idea to replace this axle nut, but if you don't have one, just reuse the old one. All right, now we wanna torque this. We're gonna use a pry bar, stick it in between the studs, the lug studs. Right, so I'm gonna use the 30mm socket, the 12-point socket, and a torque wrench. Now on this vehicle, I have a 2.5 liter engine, so I need to torque this axle nut to 159 foot-pounds. If I had the 3.5 liter engine, I would want to go to 215. So 159. There we go. It's good. Now we can remove the pry bar. All right, now we're going to reinstall this panel underneath. Put those screws in. Put those push clips in. Any locations that you had them, and make sure you tighten these screws down. Reinstall the wheel. Install the lug nuts. Alright, I'm just going to snug these up. I'm going to lower the vehicle down and torque these. Now using a 21mm socket and a torque wrench, I'm going to torque these lug nuts to 76 foot-pounds. I'm going to do this in a star pattern so that the wheel gets tightened down evenly. And I'm just going to go around again, just double check. Good to go.
Thanks for watching. Visit 1aauto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.